This is a Thunder Game Report.
Hi, I'm Randy Renner here along with the one and only Jay Grizzle. We're at the All-Star break, so we're going to talk some Thunder basketball. And the big news here as we record this on the Monday after the All-Star game, Kevin Durant kind of let the cat out of the bag, saying that his buddy Russell Westbrook is going to play Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of want to believe that kind of comment from an all-star like that, but of course we've heard nothing from the Thunder yet, so I guess it's a waiting game. But I mean, in all honesty, the Thunder have talked about this time frame all up until now, so yeah, it looks like it.
And I'm sure KD, of course, has been talking with Russ, and he knows how far he's come. And Bill Simmons actually did this interview with Kevin on Friday and just asked, hey, when's Russ coming back? And Durant didn't hesitate. He said he's going to be back our next game right after the All-Star break against Miami.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good thing. You know, it's always a good thing to pick up an All-Star without having to spend any extra money or trade.
Especially right here at the trade deadline. What a deal.
Yeah, right? Perfect timing. You know, I think what's interesting, we don't know one way or the other whether he's going to start or come off the bench. Conventional wisdom says he's going to start that game. But I think there's some question marks, at least for me, on whether or not that's the greatest move. I think emotionally you have to do that. You have to start him. Nobody's expecting anything other than that, I think, on the team. But last time Russ came back after training camp, took him 2 or 3 games to really blow the cobwebs out and become the offensive force that he's been in the past. So, you know, I think this could go either way against the Heat.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, and being around Scott Brooks and this team for as long as I have, when Russ is ready to play, when the medical staff says he's ready, he's going right back into his regular spot. Scotty Brooks isn't going to bring him off the bench. He will start. Reggie will go back to his spot.
Yeah, and I think in the long run, definitely in the long run, that's going to, you know, this whole experience is going to make the Thunder team much stronger. Reggie's been going up against these starting guards, and he's been really holding his own. And really in the last, 10 to 15 games, he's earned his stripes. He really has. And so I think putting him back on that second team is going to be a great lift for the team. I just think for the next 2 or 3 games, we might see some struggle from Russ.
Maybe. He's going to have to, like you were saying, he's going to have to blow the cobwebs out. We saw that the first couple of games he came back originally, and I would think it would be tough to be able to blow the cobwebs out against the first 2 teams they would play if he comes back on Thursday, which is Miami on Thursday, and then Chris Paul and the LA Clippers coming in here on Sunday with one of, obviously, the greatest point guards to play in Chris Paul.
Yeah, that's for sure. But one thing we know about Russ is he is a competitor. And he's not going to sit back. He's going to be aggressive. And regardless of what he ends up on the stat sheet, I think his impact to the game is going to make a difference to the positive for the Thunder. And for sure, once we get out of this next, 5 to 10 days, it's going to be good old Russ back and a stronger, more dominant Thunder team who already has the best record in the league, who already has pulled off significant strides and gains in this season.
Right, and let's talk about that right now. Randy Renner here with Jay Grizzle, and the Thunder are sitting here with the best record in the NBA. I don't think there are a whole lot of people, in fact, I'll venture to say nobody, that when we found out that Russ was going to be out for an extended period would have said, well, you know what, the Thunder are still going to have the best record in the NBA no matter what. And that's what they have right now. You got to love that.
Yeah, you do. And I think that all came down to the bench and obviously the play of Reggie Jackson. But
and Jeremy Lamb and Steven Adams.
Exactly.
And Derek Fisher, who's been really hot lately. You can just go right down the line, Perry Jones.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's the thing. A lot of people didn't see this Thunder bench as experienced enough. They weren't experienced enough to carry the team the way they have. But if you look at, especially when Russ was back for that period of time, the Thunder bench was dominating the league. And they're still solid, even moving Reggie into that starting position. So I think that's the real kicker with this team. It's a young team, but if you ask me, the coaching staff has done an amazing job of developing young talent really, really quickly this year.
Well, some of the guys on TNT, you talk about the coaching staff, and they were talking about how Scotty Brooks is probably the most underrated coach in the NBA. Doesn't get enough credit for keeping this team together and keeping everybody at a high level because, you kind of get knocked for, say, wow, you've got Durant's on your team and you have Westbrook when he's healthy and all like this. They kind of compared him to Pat Riley, who didn't get much credit because, well, he's got Magic and, all those guys out there. It still takes a lot to be able to bring all those guys together and keep them playing at a high level, especially if somebody gets hurt.
Yeah, there's no question about that. And Scott has always had the reputation of being a player's coach. And I think that's the key to this success. You've got a guy who spent time in the NBA against odds, really. He wasn't the kind of guy you'd expect to spend time like that. And when you have guys like Russell and Kevin it helps a great deal. Obviously, Kevin anchoring the mentality of that team. It really is team first. I mean, how many times have you heard him in an interview say, "I'm the greatest"? Never. He's always working on something new. And Russ has got he's almost the pepper to that salt. You know what I'm saying? So he adds some flavor, but he still keeps that team mindset. And so all of that, you've got the veteran Derek Fisher, you've got Nick Collison. All of those guys help a great deal with Scott Brooks' coaching. And I think not so much the coaching aspect, but keeping that team mentality. And Scott capitalizes on that. And I think he shares the wealth when it comes to that.
Well, you're talking about how good the team is right now and how the bench has played well, the starters have played well. It's got the best record in the league. The trade deadline is coming up on Thursday, 2 o'clock Oklahoma time. Of course, fans have thrown out all kinds of stuff. There have been some rumors out there that some reporters with excellent sources have put out there about things they've heard, and other people that don't have any sources have put out some things that they've heard from somewhere in a bar. But so what do you think? Is there a move that you would like to see this team make?
Well, I think trading one warm body for another, I don't think the Oklahoma City can improve their roster. I think if you can trade some picks for another warm body, possibly. But in the end, this is a team that without an all-star point guard still carried the best record, who now gained the all-star point guard. I don't see any benefit to Oklahoma City changing that chemistry.
Well, there's been a lot of people who have said that the best move Oklahoma City is going to make on the trade deadline is getting an all-star point guard, one of the top 10 players in the league. Some say top 5 players in the league. And it looks like they're going to get him right at the trade deadline. And that's, of course, their very own Russell Westbrook. It's hard to beat a deal like that.
Yeah, for sure. If there was going to be a trade, the one that I've heard that I like is Aaron Aflalo out of Orlando. I don't know how mathematically it works out for the Thunder, but I do like him for his three-point shooting and his defensive prowess. I think you could work a trade. If you were going to do a warm body for warm body trade, I can see a pick, and maybe Thabo Cephalou should go into Orlando, maybe even a three-way deal with another team that lands Oklahoma City Aaron Aflalo. But it would not be my first option. It'd be my second option. But his three-point shooting, I mean, obviously in the All-Star break, he competed in the three-point shot challenge. So that would be a possible upgrade to the team.
Well, Aflalo's name has come up in these trade talks. He's having a career year in Orlando. He's having the best season of his career, averaging 20 points a game. Their leading scorer. He's under contract for a couple more years at $7.5 million per. So the Thunder, they're just under the tax line, so they would have to send some people back to Orlando in order to stay under the tax line, which I think they want to do. They have a couple of trade exceptions that they could use that would help as far as matching up salaries with Aaron Aflalo, but you still may go over the tax line, and I don't think they want to do that. Mike Dunleavy's name has come up too. Mike Dunleavy with the Bulls, an excellent three-point shooter, coach's son, very smart, good defender. He only makes $3 million a year. You could fit him under there by sending somebody like Hasheem Thabeet to Chicago. But the big question is, does Chicago want Hasheem Thabeet? And so because a lot of guys throw out options, and then you have to, this would be great for the Thunder. Yeah, but you got to have two to tango. Right. That other team may not want to do that deal.
Well, exactly. I mean, we would love to have Blake Griffin here, and we'd love to, grab, maybe Carmelo and throw him in the mix. I mean, we did just see the All-Star game, so I don't know. These are our pipe dreams for sure. And that's, I think, the problem when you're a team like the Thunder. You've got upper echelon players. Everyone's at the highest level. You generally aren't going to trade guys away and get someone better, because at those positions, you're not going to trade Kevin and get someone better. You're not going to trade Russ and get someone better. And as you work yourself down the road, I mean, Perkins is a polarizing guy here in Oklahoma City. I love Perkins for his attitude, his flair, his just everything he brings.
His defense down low against guys the Thunder may play, especially Roy Hibbert, if they get to the finals and play Indiana, and against some of the other big men that they're going to face in the playoffs. That's where Perk really earns his money.
Well, absolutely, and I think that's what a lot of folks here forget is that the NBA has played some small guys here for a while, and we're moving back into that realm of the center's dominance. And to have a guy like Perk, he may not be active in every game.
Especially if they play Miami in the finals. I mean, that's a game that he will. But if they're playing Indiana and if they play Portland, San Antonio, guys like that, he's going to come in handy. Yeah. I mean, you telling me you're going to throw Steven Adams? All due respect, Steven Adams, a guy I love, but that's not going to fly.
Well, and you need more than one. Bottom line, even with Steven Adams, you need more than one guy, and they both have toughness, but they also have difference in style of play. So I think there's value in that. And you're right. And no matter who we play in the playoffs, it's going to be a big factor on if we have a big man that can really play defense, and we have that.
All right, just several topics we tried to hit on there quickly, and we'll do some more videos as we roll through the season. But I'll tell you what, I am definitely looking forward to Thursday's game with the Heat, and we'll see for sure if Russ comes back that game.
Yeah, I look for it to be an exciting day. It's obviously going to be a media circus, and it will be one for the books for sure.
All right, he's Jay Grizzle. I'm Randy Renner. We'll keep you updated. Go to our new website, InsideThunder.com.